for a long time. She had to wait for her return. The housekeeper cleaned the room, accidentally breaks homeowner's china. And then, she didn't hide her mistake. She reported it to the manager immediately, but they scolded the woman. The owner of the mansion was away on business for a long time. She had to wait for her return to discuss the matter. But Lisa hung up the phone and couldn't get over it, though she didn't have to pay the high compensation alone. But the manager's insults made her very sad. She had worked for the company for 40 years, but she was lectured for the slightest mistake. It made her think a terrible thought, so she broke the rules. She opened all the locked rooms and let the sun shine in every dark corner. Looking at the fine clothes in the closet and how shabby she looked in them, she admired the beautiful gardens outside her window. Experience a mattress like you've never felt before. At this moment, as if she was the owner of the mansion. In order to immerse herself in the life of the rich, she didn't hesitate to change into the owner's fancy clothes, with the external things to set off. Her whole demeanor changed dramatically. She decided to let herself go. Her former poverty and low self-esteem, with her raggedy clothes, they all turned into ashes. Now that she was the owner of the mansion, the system that the company had set up for herself were no longer in place. She took a steak from the freezer in the cellar and a bottle of Lafite from the wine cellar. She took a sip of the wine. The life of the rich was simple and unassuming. Lisa had built her home the way she wanted it to be when she saw the picture of the owner on the table and felt out of place. So she took them all out and tore them to pieces. After all, this is her home. No one else's photos are allowed. But this self-deception didn't last long. It was broken by a blinding bell. He opened the door with trepidation. He found a lost Michael who wanted a map. Looking at his wife, Lisa, a kind-hearted woman, ushered him in, while Mike was admiring the interior of the house. Suddenly, the girl's cry for help came from downstairs. It turned out that Mike's wife was about to give birth. Lisa was calm and collected. She told Mike to get the birth supplies ready, and eventually, through their tireless efforts, the baby was born. Thinking about being in her 60s and all alone, Lisa had a whole new idea of what home meant. She was no longer satisfied with a life of luxury. She wanted family, and then she generously gave out tons of baby stuff. This overwhelmed an unsuspecting Mike. Lisa explained that she had always lived alone, and that the baby she had delivered was very dear to her heart, so she wanted them to stay longer. She told Mike that her house was your house. Mike rushed to tell Jenny the good news. They both thought they had met a good man, but they didn't know that the so-called owner was just a thief. As the days went by, Mike took on the heaviest work on the estate. All Jenny had to do was look after the baby, and Lisa took care of the whole family. And so it went. In their own mansion, they had a happy, harmonious family of 4. But soon, a truck broke into this paradise. Lisa got up and looked out the window nervously, and realized it was the gardener. She grabbed her purse and hurried out. Her panicked look also caught Mike's attention. In order not to reveal her true identity, Lisa lied that the owner of the house had dismissed him, and offered a large sum of money as compensation. The gardener gladly accepted, and left, and from then on, Mike was given the job of mowing the lawn. And when he was done that day, he found a warehouse. He didn't realize there were 2 luxury cars parked inside. This aroused his curiosity even more. Jenny reminded Lisa, the food in the fridge is gone, and needed to replenish it as soon as possible. But when she opened the freezer in the cellar, and found that there was very little food left, Lisa was desperate. She didn't know how to get through it. Jenny told her to buy more food, because her baby was growing, but she had no money left. But Mike could see his predicament. Mike said, "This isn't your house, is it?" Lisa knew she couldn't hide it any longer. She told her everything, to make sure the quality of life could continue. Mike came up with a great idea. She called the store from the house phone, to buy things on credit, selling some of the furniture to help pay for the house. She thought her happy life was about to continue. A month later, the news hit everyone in the face.